Hello, everybody. Welcome to Spanish Bilingual Teachers. I'm here today just to give you a quick overview on how to use Mathology.ca with that special keeping in mind that how we can use this in Spanish. So Mathology.ca is only available in English and French, at least so far. So I'm going to show you how you might use this in a Spanish bilingual program. So once you get your account, you'll log in and you'll see this, you'll have a homepage that looks like this. And right here we have a carousel with unit plans from kindergarten all the way to grade 8. You can just access them by clicking those arrows. If for whatever reason you come in, it kind of looks like this, you don't see those plans, you just click Show Plan Carousel and it's there for you. So again, this is going to be a brief overview. We do have other videos if you want to dive in a little deeper to Mathology. I'm just going to kind of do a getting started kind of situation today. So let's start with grade 4. So I'm a grade 4 teacher. I come in, and when you come in, you're going to see that you have all the units here down along the side. This is your entire math program for the whole year. It starts with the interactive math tools, which are very cool. If you open that up, you can see there's all these little digital tools, and you can actually assign these to Google Classroom. So this is the only part of Mathology that students will interact with. It's not a student resource, so they don't go into it. You don't need to register them. You can take any of these. So if I was teaching a lesson and I wanted to use counters, for example, I could grab the URL from the top, copy it, and post it in my Google Classroom. My personal suggestion would be not to post all of them so they have all the choices, because you'll never get out of them. There we go. Okay, so when you come in here, you could share all of them if you wanted, but my suggestion would be to share them one at a time for whatever you happen to be using. If you're doing place value today, maybe share place value blocks. But coming back to our units, so for each one of these, so if I go here to number, relationships, and place value, this is an example of a rather short unit in grade 4. So in Division 2, all of our units start with a readiness task. You have your lessons and then a consolidation at the end. So each lesson may take more than one day. It's not one lesson per day. You could spend a week on a single lesson depending on what it is and how ready your students are for it. But the readiness task is pretty cool. This is just a Div 2 thing. When you click on any lesson, any readiness task, it always brings you to the About section first to give you all the background knowledge you need, the content background, the focus of the lesson, the curriculum, the learning progression, everything is in that About. That's your front matter. So you have to click on Task to get to the actual activity. And then, so all readiness tasks start with a few questions. This one has 4, some of them have 3, that students can complete so you can see how is their background knowledge in this area? Are they ready to go on to that first lesson, or do they need some review? So if you find that, oh my goodness, my entire class had a hard time with question 4, I can go to the link in the previous grade, in this case it's grade 3, and go back and do it. This will link me right back to that lesson, and I can do a little bit of foundational work with my students before I go on to the new lesson. So the next lesson, this is representing numbers to 1 million. So again, it starts with that About, all of that front matter, and then I click on Lesson. So here I have my whole teacher's guide. This is the lesson plan. This is what I'm going to teach with my students. It gives you the exactly step-by-step instructions of what you can do. All of the lessons have a PowerPoint, which you can actually post to Google Classroom. If you have parents who really want to know what's going on in math, you can just post those and they can go look at them whenever they want. And then all of my attachments are going to be up here at the top. So there's math, there are different Blackline masters, practice questions, practice answers, assessment, and the lesson slides, those PowerPoints there. So the one nice thing about Mathology.ca is that everything that you see, they give you a PDF and a Word version. So if you are going to give, say, some practice questions that don't actually have a lot of language on them, you might decide to just open up the Word, quickly translate it yourself, print it off, you're done. Or you might open them up and say, oh, that's a lot of language. I don't want to translate all of that. Well, that's where a Canva account would come in really handy. So Canva is free for educators. Really, the trickiest part of it is you have to sign up for the account. So hopefully, admin have shared the site that my supervisor, Lynn Leslie, sent to them, which is this little Canva Google site that they created on how to get started with Canva. So it's really good. You do have to use your Learn account. There's a link to Canva right here. Your teachers get verified. There's a few steps involved there. You have to prove that you're a teacher. Paula Hattie from EdTech made a nice little video of how to get started with Canva. So I would suggest watching it if you don't have your account yet. Kind of tells you what you need to do. And if you get stuck on anything, you can email edtech@cssd.ab.ca and they can help you out with getting started with Canva. So I have a Canva account already. I've been using it quite a bit this year. So this is my homepage when I'm logged into Canva. So I would come down to projects. I'm going to start a new project. So you just have to have something downloaded to your computer. So I'm going to flip back. I didn't actually download anything here. So why don't I open up the practice sheet? I have to open the PDF. So that is important when you go to translate. You need to translate the PDF. So here's a PDF of practice questions. And yeah, there's a fair amount of language on there. I might not want to spend all my time translating that. So Canva could come in. Oh, there's a lot of questions. Okay. So I'm going to translate this whole thing. So when I need to download it, so I download it to my computer. It just goes into my downloads my download section right there. And then I'm going to go back to my Canva. Here I am, and I'm going to upload. So upload my lesson. So there's that add new, and then you choose upload. So I just have to pick that from my downloads. And you see it's just loading up right here. Okay. And I'm going to open it up. So I click on it to open it, and it brings me this little screen. So I'm just going to give it a minute, let it all load up, and then let's take a look. So this is what it looks like after Canva uploaded it. So compared to the original, it's pretty close. Maybe not as bolded as, but pretty close there. So you can see I've got all of my pages in there. So the nice thing with this is that because you're translating in Canva, you can actually play with the formatting. So in Google Translate, I tried to put things through Google Translate and the formatting went all over the place. So this is actually much easier to use. So I've got my document, it's uploaded, it's ready to go. I'm going to translate. So I have this nice little menu bar along the left-hand side. I'm going to click Translate, and I'm going to choose my language. And there are many languages here. If you have any ELL students who have a different first language, you might find this handy for them as well. But I'm going to go down till I find Spanish. There we go. This tone of voice, this is new. I'm just going to leave it on original because I'm not sure which one would be the best one there. I want to translate the pages, but I want to get all of my pages. Now you can select if you have pages that you don't want to translate. You don't have to, but I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to click Translate. So we'll give it just a minute. It's translated. It's crazy, so fast. So the one thing it does do, because this always confuses me when I haven't done it in a while, it keeps the English and then it gives you the Spanish. You can go ahead and just delete the English page and just keep the Spanish pages. So when I go in here, this all looks good, but you can see the formatting, see how it's a little off there? So I'm just going to stretch my text box. Oh, now I can read it. Perfect. Yeah, page 1 looks good now. Here's my English. Don't want to confuse myself. I'm going to delete that. And then I come in here. So again, I'm going to stretch the text box so it fits on one row. And when it fits in one row, then it's not going over top of each other, as you can see. So that's all you really need to do is just play with the formatting a little bit, but the translating itself is done. So that's kind of how that works. So as you can see, it's highly useful. You might need this for even more than just your math class translating documents. As we know, there's not enough in Spanish, so that's hopefully going to be helpful. When I come back to my Mathology, I've got my 2 lessons. So after I've taught those 2 lessons, I'll come to consolidation. So when I come down here, again, I get my about, my front matter, I go to lesson. So when I go to the lesson, again, I have my whole teacher's guide here. My Blackline Masters are all there. Show what you know is meant to be kind of a summative assessment. So again, you might open it in a PDF or a Word, either one, and you can play with it. And if you like, it's kind of long sometimes, you might decide this is too many questions. I don't need this many questions for my students. So you can go into the Word and just delete. Or you might have some students who just need a bit of a lower level. You can edit the questions so they kind of look the same. They look like the same question, but maybe with smaller numbers so that it's not as they can actually enter the learning at the same kind of activity. So this is what show what you know looks like. Again, we can run that through Canva, but it gives you an idea of, you could use this for summative assessment if you'd like. The other things I wanted to show you is where it says assessment is a little bit different, and this has confused a lot of teachers. If you want something that is more of a summative assessment, that's the show what you know. Assessment, there's two places to get it. There's a PDF and Word version here, and there's a digital version here. I'm going to show you the digital just because it's a little bit easier to see. So this is a digital version, and what this is a learning progression. So for this concept, number, relationships, and place value at grade 4, this would be the lowest level of that learning. So it represents a five-digit number, and a place value chart decomposes in one way. So that would be kind of where you might start. And then students might work their way up the progression. In the bottom right is going to be the highest level of this progression. Represents numbers flexibly using place value relationships. And so your students might be anywhere along this progression. So if you wanted to put their names in, you totally don't have to, but if that's something you wanted to do, you could maybe say, well, Kermit the Frog is going to be down here. He's having a hard time with this particular concept. But maybe Gonzo is about halfway up the progression. He's kind of uses relationships among place value positions to read a number more than one way. But Miss Piggy's really kicking it, and we're going to put her down here on the highest part of the progression. She's got all of it. She is achieved at grade level, no problem. So it's just something a little extra. You can see where the progression is, kind of judge where your students are. And then, of course, if you have someone like Kermit is struggling, I can click next steps, and it'll give me some ideas of what I might do to try and prompt Kermit's learning. Sometimes the tips are good, sometimes they're just meh, but they're there for you. And then we go to differentiated support, and on this one it just gives us word wall and related lessons. Sometimes it'll give us other tips and ideas of things we might do. So that's what a Mathology unit looks like. For Div 1, it's slightly different. When you go into, let's say we go into counting in grade 2, you'll see that the lessons look quite different in Div 1. They started with a Mathology little book. You might have heard of these before. They're great books that have, the teacher's guide is very good step-by-step with what questions you can ask. And because it's in the Mathology.ca, it's actually aligned to the concept for you, so you don't have to go looking for the little book that you would like. It's right there. It tells you which one you can use. And there are also student handouts that you can translate and use, just like we were seeing with the other Mathology lessons. And then all of the lessons that we have are right here. And then it also has consolidation at the end for Div 1. So just a slight difference with those little books are in there now as well. So that's Mathology.ca. And so everybody should have access. If it's before the last day of school, please email me. I will happily make sure you're set up and get you, if you're having any troubles, get you sorted out. I will not be in this position next year, so after the end of June, if you come back in August and you're having problems, you need to email Jessie Zanutig, who is our elementary math consultant. She's going to be on her own next year, so she'll be in charge of all of that. The other resource you will be getting, I believe in September, is called Matific. Matific is a digital learning tool that students can log into and use. And that will be available in Spanish. It's available in many languages. Spanish is one of them. So look forward to more information about that coming for you later on. So that is my little video, everybody. Please let me know if I can help, and enjoy using Mathology in your Spanish classrooms. Bye.